love you, children. I'm going to sit this back there. And we're going to get the treat tonight with Mrs. Clark. All right. And our next panelist is Mr. Tomas. Bring Mr. Tomas to the stage here. Yes. Thank you. I didn't know this man. Let me tell you, he came to. You should have had the wife up there too. So she don't want to be his wife came to one night, and it was a panel, and two of my guys did not make it. So I'm pacing, and I think it was probably, I don't know if it was Jonathan or somebody else whispering in my ear, like, bring Royce Smith up to the stage because he got a lot to say. I was like, what? Yeah.
How many you can do that is hilarious.
I was like, okay. So then I didn't know, because I'm not married, so I didn't know to ask the wife or not, so I go to the
Yeah, but do married couples know? In the state of California.
Wow. So we don't get to legal issues later. So after that, anyway, to make that up, I stage, people love to I found out later on that in fact we went to the same kindergarten. He stayed there, I did, so I don't remember. How long were you there?
Oh, I stayed the whole way.
The whole way, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
6th grade.
Kindergarten, it was private school. My mom was like, public school. And this one here. So let's give them a round of applause. I gotta do that. All right, and so yes, we have two married people, but they were not always married. Okay, they have got on here some kind of way, like dating, all that. These are there. So I'm just gonna start off in a general question. What is the most common relationship struggles today? Like, and I want the deep dive. I don't want the because we cheat, you not. I mean, those. I want y'all to really feel like what is the struggle? With relationships.
Ladies, okay, well, fellas first. I think the biggest struggle that I've seen across social media and just interacting with people who are and are not in relationships is a lack of communication about what you really want from your relationship. I don't think most people go into a relationship, one, with an understanding of what they want out of it, from themselves, and specifically what they want from their significant other. So if you don't let your lady or your man know what you want and or need, then when you get upset that they don't give you what you want or need, and you just bounce without saying, yo, I need this, I want this, I think it creates a trend that, unfortunately, once you've gotten to the age of 25, 30, 35, 40, beyond, you're stuck and you think everybody is stank. And they just are horrible people. But in reality, no one really knows what you want and you haven't communicated with them.
Okay, good.
One of them.
One of them. Yeah, y'all need to write down notes. Y'all need index cards. I want y'all to.
I have a question.
Shall we?
No, because you can let a man know what you need, but then they stubborn in their own way.
We don't get to the audience in a second. So that's why I said, post that on or write it down or something like that.
think it's for my friends, they struggle with control. They want to control everything. Every aspect of the relationship.
Your friends are men or women?
Wait, okay. My friend's girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to control every aspect of the relationship. They want to control what the guy said, when he said, or what he should be doing, when he should be doing it. And I didn't hear from him today, and why is that? Like, that is so crazy to me. The way they want to control everything is weird, because you just want to fall back and you want to see what he's going to do. But they are so caught up with controlling everything. I think that is a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk that talk.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine interacting with and of course I'm a man, so I'm gonna say woman. I couldn't imagine interacting with a woman who consistently and or constantly was pressing me on what I did or didn't do. Like if I didn't do it and you want me to do it, then sure you can let me know that. By all means, because that's the communication that I was talking about. But if I do something or I don't do something and I just don't want to do it, and if you want it done and I'm not doing it, then we don't even have to have a conversation about it. Kind of like we said earlier, just bounce. Like this is not what you want, and you're not getting what you want out of this relationship or interaction, then why does it have to be a fight? I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to leave.
But I do think there is a way to communicate what you want.
Yes.
Respectfully and in a way that makes the person want to do it, as opposed to making them be like, well, there's a way to talk to them.
You want to
There's a way to talk to them.
talk to me nicely.
Exactly. Because one thing that Shelly has said that stuck with me and the viewers, the viewers, the audience is that men just want y'all to be nice to them.
Always.
That's what Shelly said. Men
They
just
looking
want
for
y'all to be nice.
No,
Right?
don't be that. See, that's nice.
What happened?
Looking for that mama.
I don't want to be nobody's
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if y'all want to take good care of you, most definitely you're going to look for that same thing in a female. But it's going to take care of you. Like, if your mama did you wrong, you going to look for a same female that did you wrong like your mama? No, you going to look for a woman that did better. That's going to take care of you. That's going to actually listen to you. You have a good mother that's listening to you, providing for you. Know how to put clean clothes on your back instead of making you look crazy out here. You don't want that same thing in a female. You don't want your female out here making you look crazy, arguing with them outside in the streets all the time.
So what I hear you saying is that,
In a very strong way.
right, is that a man looks for his woman in his partner.
It can be resemblance, like how the way she took care of them.
Somebody listen.
Because I feel that it's characteristic. I mean, see, you know, here's the thing. I see it across social media and everywhere else is that women love to answer questions that are fit for guys.
All time.
I promise you, and I'm just saying I will put a post like men only. And then answer the question. About 5 girls answer the question. I'm like, oh, why? So, to your point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that at all. That's why I wanted to clarify. So now I want to here to answer. Let's start in the back there. That is my brother, y'all. Hey, y'all, my brother.
I personally think it's situational. Like for me, I love my mama. I was raised amazing. She did a great job. But I will not look for my woman to be like my mom. I've been in a situation where the situation I was in, she did so many things that reminded me of my mom, and it just drove me crazy. So,
I don't want to be your mom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not looking for similarities. You know, the comforting and like if I was I don't have any children, but if I was to have a child, then I would look for her to raise a child the same way or similar. You know, bring my family values with hers and grow together. But I do not look for my mother in a
But
way.
you will have to compromise with your woman on how you want to raise your children.
It's always a compromise.
Definitely.
Diamond, I'm sorry, for Diamond. Cause I know my
For men.
I can speak up for man, girl.
You can't.
She said, "Oh,
All right, so Donovan,
Are you looking
are you looking for your mother in your potential partner?
So I think my mom was very different. Okay. My mom told me time and time again that she was raising me for another woman. She wasn't raising me for her. So she wasn't as affectionate as she wanted to be. She wasn't as tied into me as she wanted to be. She wasn't as loving in that way because she always told me, I'm not raising you for me. I'm raising you for another woman to leave and cleave. So in that understanding, yeah, my mom was my first love as to an example as to how to run a household, how to, be loving, how to carry yourself or what have you. But she was very clear in saying, my whole goal is to raise you for another woman.
Now,
So I think as we get older and we grow and we start to see our parents as people, individuals, you realize I would never date
Yes.
you. Never. I would never even be, we probably wouldn't even be talking to you. Like, what do you refer to? I would not be cool like that.
I beg to differ because I'm a daddy's girl.
Well,
I would definitely date my dad. And it had the guy that was the one or whatever. He was like my dad, and he is the only one that my dad has ever liked and still likes to this day, no matter what. So, but I can see why my brother would never. But yeah, I would.
I mean, but you see them as people, not just their parents. You see them as individuals. That's how you
Daddy's girl. But Donovan, I wanted to say, and I wanted to ask you real quick, going back to Donovan before I get to Donovan. I know all the women that you dated.
Yes.
So from there, how did that work out for you? From your mother teaching you that and you being that instilled in you, but going through the women that you have been with, and I say this a lot, John, I put them out there.
You know all of them.
No, but being in
No, it's hard though.
your exes, you know, and you're we is in a relationship right now. Cat is our next time. But I don't know for problem, right?
Well, if I'm going to address the question correctly, right? The way that my mom, groomed me or raised me in that manner, it allowed her to disconnect, right? It allowed her to disconnect. So she gave me the space and the grace to be able to fail in my dating stage, my dating steps, because she understood that she was pushing me away, not necessarily trying to keep me close. So she allowed me to say, I mean, she allowed me to have the space to date who I thought may have been good for me without taking it personal. Because she was already in the mentality of, it's for them, it's not for me. So I think that a lot of, moms or women that I've talked to who are mothers, they're raising their sons to be tight with them. And then they take it personal when their sons may be dating someone who they disagree with,
Agreed. To Ron, go ahead, because I have another question for my brother.
Talk.
I agree with a lot of shit that was said, right? Because I'm a single dad. I got 2 daughters and a son, and I raised my daughters to understand a man, understand a man first, and I raised them to listen before they respond. Because if you listen, a lot of the times you may not have to respond. Women choose to respond because they just gotta have some shit to say, right? And this was
Let them cook.
My mom was she was feminine, but she was assertive. And when she said, she meant that shit, right? So as a man, when I say something, I mean what I say. I don't say shit that I don't mean. So if I'm asking you, give me time, let me say what I need to say, listen to what I'm saying first. That's what I'm asking. Anything outside of that is unacceptable. I teach my daughters that same shit. This was a problem I had with them, raising them, is to get them to understand that you don't always have to respond. Pick and choose your battles wisely, because that will determine at the end of the day if that man is gonna stay or leave your ass. Because if you just constantly going home, having a rebuttal for everything, it's gonna lead to unwanted conversation that's eventually gonna drive a man away. Huh? Yeah. No, that's why I said I agree with a lot of what you said, because my mom was the same way. My mom was the same way.
But it's more, but you're touching on your children though. It's more about how your mom affects how you look at the women that you date, not your children.
I know.
And that's what we need to talk about, these children, what they go through.
The only thing was that my mom she never wanted to get attached to a woman that I was dating.
No, the thing about it is that we're talking about every single adult, and we're not thinking about these kids.
Right.
We're talking about what's best for him, what's best for her, what's best for these kids.
But we don't get as kids.
We're not talking about the kids right now.
So I mean,
She emphasized that your mom was very assertive.
but we're not talking about what's best.
So
When you get married,
for a woman that's assertive, okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at.
I look for a woman that mean what you say. Like, if you don't say it, mean that shit.
Like your mom.
Right, that's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Yes and no.
It's the characteristics.
So that's characteristics. So I know what you're saying. You're talking about, which is something that I like to talk about a lot, is a mama's boy. That's what you're talking about. We're talking about characteristics.
I'm not talking about a mama's boy.
Okay.
I was talking. Yeah, that's why I explained myself.
I'm holding my hand up because I've been saying we're talking about the good between two people, whatever was going on between a marriage.
Right.
What happens when the marriage is over?
Okay.
What happens when the marriage is over and you got 2 adults against each other and not thinking about anybody else?
So,
and doing nothing for her or her kids when her marriage is over. What's gonna happen? How you gonna feel? How you gonna react?
Well, I don't look for my mom. Like different my mom. I like growing up, I had my stepmom raised me, and my father was also in my mother. So I lean more toward men and my family when I was growing up. My mom didn't really have any influence on it as far as dating, except for one time she said something that I was dating, and it wasn't working out, and she said, stop dating women that are very deep. Yeah. Because I was talking women that I could help. Like, I'm a man, I'm gonna help. Right? So she said, stop doing that. And then I found she was married. So that's the biggest, that's one plus one. But I don't do it for my mom, but that could be just because I need more on the men in the family throughout my life. So I really didn't really have a lot of those conversations with my mother and looking at my mom like that. You know what I mean? I didn't have that. I'm not a mama's boy or any of that. I didn't do any of that. I was like, teach me how to be a man, you know, throughout my whole life. Kind of what I was
Bring us hard.
Oh man, hey, it's a long road.
I'm sorry.
No, I think me for sure, and I think most of us, any person, the people who raise you, who interact with you, specifically from a young child all the way up, they influence everything. So there's no way around that. So however your mother or father was, that definitely plays a role in who you are, who you choose to be with, how you interact with people, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, you can't get away from that. It is what it is. So you can't choose your parents, you can't choose the lessons that you were taught. But at some point, and you know, if the earlier you catch it, you figure out, you know, the right and wrongs about what you were taught and what you've learned, and evolve beyond that, the better off you can be. But the reality of it is you can't choose your parents, you can't choose what you were taught, you can't choose what you learned when you were in freshman. Yeah, so if you meet a mama's boy or daddy's girl and you don't like what they have to say, you can have a conversation with them, but the reality of it is they likely have 20, 25 plus years of learning that. And if they don't want to change it, then you should just exit stage left rather than trying to manipulate or change what they think or how they act.
Any questions from the audience? And I will say, going to it so much the same. I always try to see how to phrase it.
Breathe in on time.
I wasn't willing to change until I found somebody else like my dad. Yeah, so it just really all, like I said, depends on what the other person is willing to put up with. And it was a problem for my partner at the time that I was a daddy's girl. It was a problem for him that I was family oriented, and it was a problem for him and I was not changing that.
And that's why you gotta pick people if you're gonna.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I
So
was
here's the thing, because this is the question that I always have, because we don't speak, we haven't spoken, and I don't desire to speak, I have no reason to. But the question that I always have to that point, and from a male's perspective, help me out here, is I always felt like, why didn't he embrace that on my side? If he did not have that family, and then he got into a situation where he, right. But that's not true.
me, I got like my dad's side of the family, my mom's side, right? Like, I don't fuck with my dad or my mom's side of the family because of certain shit that I seen them do as a family when I was a kid, right? So as I got older, it was like, damn, man, like I wanna find a woman that really understands family and her family understands family, because as a kid, I didn't have that shit. So it was something that I wanted. So I gravitated towards the woman that I seen, you interact with your son, you doing shit with your son, you and your family like get together on the weekends, y'all have a game night, y'all chilling on his back, right? Dominoes, like I wanted that shit. Because as a kid, I wanted to do that shit with my family.
So what I'm asking,
So
the minds of men that would not be okay with that, like I'm saying, if you guys now this is the same personal question here. Again, the mindset, I thought that he would embrace it. I thought that he would be like, man, this family stuff is cool. Like, I like this. Instead, he felt that I was my dad was overshadowing him being a father because he was so great with my daughter. And that, me and my family went out to eat way too much, and he didn't understand that. So again, gravitated. He was invited to everything. So, I mean, any insight from me? Sure.
But just like
he just had a lack of confidence.
Just like Shelly said, it was foreign to him. And since he had daddy issues, I think it was just a bit much for him.
Yeah, okay.
Being the little brother looking at it from the outside.
He was there.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit much for him. And he really, like it just was different for him.
I never asked you. I was like, he saying about I never asked you because you were close with him as well.
Yeah.
So
I have a question, and it's kind of drifting off a little bit, but within that same thing, how do you know when to like try to keep going and trying when to cut it off in a situation like that? Because like you said, you're thinking you didn't have this, so this is something that you would like to be. How he said, he didn't have that, so this is what he was looking for. So you try to work that, okay, you didn't have that. Maybe over time, you might see this is a family thing. Maybe you might want to be around this because you didn't have it. Or when like, oh, hey, when like this, all right, fucking that's it. Like, how she can tell.
let me tell you. Because that's why I started in this saying. And I always forget. I tell you that I always forget to tell my story in the beginning because that's how I'm supposed to start this thing off. And I know this is Shelly's favorite story. It all started, right? All right, so can you just keep saying again, unlearning relationships. It goes back to high school. This is how it goes. I was in love with my high school sweetheart, and we had a situation. It didn't work out. That's another story within itself. He went on vacation, right? When he went on vacation, I kind of found out some things that I probably shouldn't have found out. But guess what? He's on vacation, so I can't talk to him about it, right? And so therefore, I was like, all right, I'm about to do my thing, right? I'm 18, 19, fresh out of high school, about to go to college, all that good stuff. Well, it was around Thanksgiving time, I'm hanging out with a bunch of my friends, and then I see this cute little light-skinned guy with green eyes. Oh my God, like, what's up? So I'm hanging out. This is my story, okay? This is my story. And so we started hanging out. So however it was supposed to be fun and experience and revenge or whatever it was what it was, right? I got pregnant. Not an accident. I have my backstory in because it wasn't oops. One day, I don't know, we were sitting up there like, you want to have a baby? You want to have a baby? Yes, I was saying. By the time I decided that I didn't want to have a baby, guess what y'all? I was pregnant. Right. Grew up in a loving two-parent home, tried to do what I had to do. Now, he was cool. I always say, like, I didn't like him like that. He was cool, right? He was cool. Then we was having I grew up in a two-parent home, so I was like, this is what I got to do. Moved out of my parents' house, didn't have to. I live in my parents' house to this day if they would let me. But I was like, he came with me, so I got to move out because I'm not a night person. He got to take care of me. I'm gonna wrap this up. Anyway, we had a baby, we moved out, we had a baby. I still wasn't really feeling him like that. It was just like, oh, we raised this kid, I gotta do it like we're up to parent home, I'm not feeling you. And I did it, and I did it for 5 years because I grew up in a parent home. Again, this is why I unlearned and relearned because I felt this is what I had to do. I still did not like this man. So when I created this exit plan, guess what happened, y'all?
Man came home. Said the guy came home. Where was that? Vacation.
That was great. He proposed. And I mean, I didn't necessarily say yes, but of course, as women, we get excited, right? Like, oh my God, I'm about to get married. I wasn't that excited, so I was like, all right, call my best friend, call whatever, and I started planning the wedding. We were still not cool, y'all. Like, I did not like him. Like, it just, I did not like him. That's why I say I gotta stop saying I would like him, but it was not growing like he was. But then, even outside of that, let me say, it wasn't the best relationship either. You know, so he just wasn't meeting my values. Our values weren't aligning. He wasn't, adding up to what I envisioned myself being a partner. So when he proposed, so I'll tell y'all, it was a timeline. He proposed in February, and this is a joke. That's a serious joke. I always say that the first thing I should have known is that he woke me up to propose to me. Look, see, you feel me? Don't wake me up. Don't wake me up. If you know me, you know, don't wake me up for nothing. And so that was the one thing. And then I went washing the ring flew in the washing machine. It was a mess, y'all. Anyway, yes. So that was February, and it was Super Bowl Sunday. I think the Eagles were playing something was boring. That's why I was here. February, I planned, me and my best friend planned our engagement party in July. It was July 11th, and we wasn't even talking at the engagement party. Like this, we were not cool. Like it was just like, you get on my nerves. It was all that. That was July. In August, me and Shelly went to Atlanta, and Shelly's like, I don't even like him. First of all, Shelly told me the entire relationship, like, you don't like him. Like, she talked the whole everything the entire time. And the fact that we were in Atlanta turning up in my engagement, like, Shelly, like, hell. That was July, that was August. So then, after I came back from Atlanta, I don't know if this is a correlation, but in August, I woke up and was like, I want to do this. You should go to your mom, you should go say, I have this together, this is like, I had my exit plan out, and he was so confused. I thought I did the right thing. I thought that I was cordial and just broke up with the man. But he didn't take it like that. He didn't, I can't even say he disappeared because Mama literally lived around the corner. Like, we could walk around the corner. But he disappeared. He wasn't active when we started flying. So, here we are. He was keep saying because I felt that I, fortunately, people wait for, term limit. People wait for cheating, domestic violence, anything like that to, break up or to leave. But going back to my boy, my instinct, I knew the values were in line. He wasn't going to be the man. I did not see when I saw myself, because going back, I grew up in a loving two-parent home. My daughter wasn't growing up in a loving two-parent home. So that would be extremely unfair. Then we'll get to the standard kids thing later, because that's what that was real good. Because I know how I am and how I feel, I saw that my daughter would feel the same way had I stayed in the house with that. So I had to, and not many people understood that when I broke that off. They're like, girl, you need to marry, that's your daughter's father, no parents and shit. So that's why I developed the skills and the tools to help other individuals how to unlearn that. Because if I would have studied what I learned, I would have gotten married. My parents were married for 30 years and they just got divorced, like in November. So had I had married my daughter's father, sitting up there like, oh my God, my parents did it and now they're divorced. I'm stuck with this fool. I did it because that's what I do. So that's my story. So to answer your question, it's so much more than that. Like, it goes deep into it was 7 years. But to answer your question is that you have to choose yourself. I don't care what nobody say about the word selfishness. Like, there is a positive side to being selfish, and it's choosing yourself. Because when you choose yourself, then you're good for everybody else around you, right? And so, because so many people worry about themselves, drain themselves, there's so many people my age, and they are looking like they in their 60s. And my dad is 60, and he looked like they're 30. And I'm like, what? It's because they're choosing other people. And not just in relationships, majority of relationships. relationships, right? But they're choosing family members, they're choosing work, their bosses, they are choosing relationships over themselves, and they're training themselves. And then that's why mental health is so big. I mean, it wasn't big back then. Like, we didn't hear so much about mental health back then. It is growing and it's becoming big. So when you choose yourself, kids, I'm an advocate of them kids. Now, I have something I say all the time. I have me and her is like, I love her and everything, but listen, I've been telling her now, I said, you want to be lucky, you love it today. Because that's not what I'm doing over here. But I say F them kids because she's 21 now. Now, me and her are very close, but when she got her first boyfriend, she started watching our shows with him. And I'm like, wait, hold on. F them kids. But I say they're going to develop their own relationships, like Thomas said. They're going to develop their own individuality, and you're going to be stuck in a relationship with somebody you don't want to. But then when their kids go off, you looking at this school like, I just stay here with kids, and kids don't always love their else, and they worry about me. Choose yourself, but not in a malicious way, if that makes sense. Right? In a way of more like self-care, so that you can be the best you for everybody else. Confidence is big too. That's another word that is underused, like understanding.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but I don't know if confidence flows from what my question was. Does it flow?
No, it can attribute to it, but it can attribute to it because confidence is a huge part of it. Yes.
So that, like, your example of confidence, how would confidence go to my question?
Restate your question.
My thing was, how do you know when to work it out with someone opposed to letting you go?
It's a damn line. It's either you're gonna do it or not.
Okay, so I don't. Because you said that you grew up a certain way. You wanted a family thing, but not all men think like you. So I'm like, fine, Tomas, and he might not be the same, but I'm working on him. I'm like, maybe he might want that. So how do I know that one day he's gonna change? Like you know, showing all the same. How does that go into confidence? My lack of.
A man at some point is going to tell you exactly what he wants. And at that time is when he's ready. The problem comes is when you're trying to make a man ready before he
No. It's not me trying to. That's me sticking it out, just working. Yeah. So I didn't hear next time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she.
Yes, so what she's asking is that when do you work it out with a man or when do you let it go? So I think it's the your work potential, right? So she's trying to say, she's trying to say potential. How do you know when to stick in there with a guy like, oh, you know, okay, let's just go on the family picnic, right? So you don't want to go on the family picnic. She wants somebody to go to the family picnic. Probably is it the 5th time that he declines your invitation that you like, or do you keep trying that 6th family function, or that 7th? That's the lower level, but that's basically what she's asking. When your values on the line, when he's just not, when it's not growing.
Let me help.
Yes.
Let me help.
I'll be a little thirsty.
Yes. I got a lot of struggle. I'm gonna leave it at that. Communicate. I said it from the beginning. If you communicate with me, let's say you and I are together. You communicate with me that family is big, and then you say 2 weeks from now, hey, my folks are doing a barbecue at Kenneth Hine Park. I want you to come with me. And I say no. Why not? And then when I say I really just don't want to go, why don't you want to go?
But what was your response when you first said that?
I said no.
Okay, but listen, Mr. Brown, that's still kind of mixed up to what I'm saying. Because I got
Stop. If I say no, and you express to me that you want this, then you ask me why. And if I can't give you a reason Why? A legitimate reason that makes complete sense. Because if I don't want to do something, if you don't want to do something, as adults, we should be able to express ourselves and tell you why. If I can't give you a reason, that means we don't align. And if we don't align, then we don't need to go forward.
But even still with that, so first off, there's change right there. Anybody can change this. And maybe it's not expecting men to change, but anybody can, because maybe I'm like, okay, he doesn't like this, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Let her finish.
So what if I'm like, okay, I really like him. He's not into the family thing. I'm okay with that. He and I will do our own thing. I will do my own family thing. So if I decide, okay, no, you know what? I feel like he is worth my time. He just won't come to family stuff. How does that mean that I have a lack of confidence? I am waiting for that answer.
First off, why should you have to change?
No.
You always answer our questions with a question. Answer our direct question.
How you say, why is it a lack of
Yes,
confidence?
you said it's confidence.
Because sometimes, like, for a guy, I don't know all guys, right? I'm gonna just say, for a guy, it could be something that he's lacking, like that makes him stay away from you.
I'm not looking for
It could fall into a confidence thing within himself.
So it's his
It
confidence.
could be, that's what I'm saying, it's not yours, it's.
But that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes we get into relationships with people that lack certain shit. You say, yeah, right? And a lot of times we don't try to figure out what it is that they're lacking, right? You can't help a person if you don't know what it is they need help with.
So wouldn't me trying to invite into my family things be trying to figure it out?
No, because if he told you no in that moment, leave shit alone.
So
The problem comes when you keep going
trying
back to it. Now you forcing an issue.
So
Because it's like if you say, hey, I want to go to this play. I'm like, hey, I'll be there.
And that goes back to what you said. Should you try to stay and figure it out, or should you go? That should know from the jump right there. When he told you, have the things that you figured it out.
okay, so that answers the first question. We got to this other question based off the fact that me answering that question said that was a compliment. So like when she was saying, you have to understand the difference in this with definition.
Right.
So the confidence is more so not me trying to stick it out with that man and me understanding that this man is not confident to be a family man.
Let me say this real quick, Ashley. Tomorrow's all top.
Because I see what she said, but I see the angle, so they just go in the other.
What he just dreamt, I kind of call is basically you have more confidence to figure out what
Say it.
you want instead of more confidence on what you
So
want.
that's what I was gonna bring back. So bring it all back to the answer to the question.
Thought you said yeah when you bring it up.
And you went around like 17 times.
I did, but it's so much. It's so much. I can't speak.
And
But
that's
every
why
man, I want to
that's why I told you I can have these more than once a month. It's so amazing. It's so much fun. But it's what's important to you. That's why everybody has the negotiables and non-negotiables. It's what's important to you. So in my situation, that those things that he was lacking was extremely important to me. Now, one thing that I think we briefly brushed on earlier is about bringing things up. We kind of tackled what we did and how men feel that we bring things up. One thing I never did was bring it up to him on what I felt was wrong with him. Because because I think somebody said, if my queen said earlier, what he does would be perfect for another woman. So I would never kill a man's confidence or what he's doing because I don't necessarily like what he's doing. You know, so for example, I was seeing a guy briefly, and in my opinion, he was too nice, right? That's who was me. See? But, you know, that's for me though. I never told him, it's not like I walked around that. That's just what I'm saying for myself. So I stopped dating him. But again, I would never tell him like, oh my God, like you're too nice. Because I don't want him to change for the next woman thinking that he's just too nice. Right? So again, what's important to you? Right? And those things, and you have to really know what your non-negotiables, because like we were saying about your girl, I ain't her non-negotiables, you know, her non-negotiables, and her negotiables, her just jump, that's what she said earlier. That's what you said earlier, right? And so, therefore, you really have to like know what they are, and that's how you know whether to leave or to go. That's exactly how you go. Okay, that was great. Question.
Yeah, and then we went on to some other shit. So both of y'all married, right? So my question is how long did y'all date before you started to try to teach that person how to love you the way that you needed to be loved? Versus just like falling in love, like, because I believe that, you know, in order for somebody to love you correctly, sometimes you gotta go back to the beginning. You gotta kind of teach that person how to give you what you need versus what you want. Because there's a difference between needs and wants.
Sure.
So how, like, for both of y'all, like, how long did y'all go through that process?
Early on, we did the love languages. So,
Also, tools, like in relationship coaches,
we talked about that early. So he knew exactly what it was that I liked.
So,
We did the quiz in the back.
hold that question.
Y'all
Because
talking about the quiz.
yes, which is
Well, because your love language, it just tells you what makes you happy, right? It can be acts of service, it's words of affirmation, quality time. That was insight for him to know what I knew. So the little quiz he was very telling about who I was, the person, and how he could get me to fall in love with him and vice versa.
and also it's funny that you say that because y'all people love kids. I also do college as well, so I went and I did interviews with college athletes, football players, college athletes, and I gave them all the love language quiz. It was their first time, and I promise you, I'll air it on YouTube one day. But they were like, "Oh, this is a good one. I'm giving this to every girl that I date, so they need to know this about me." So even tools are it is about tools. It is about like because everybody thinks about interviews, questionnaires, first dates. No, it is too. Like you said, it's easy. You can get a lot of past about stuff by just knowing the quiz and knowing about yourself. Yeah. But also knowing that your partner, if they love language, is something that you have the capacity for because it just might not align. So tools is a good one there. But hold on before you answer that. Yes, I have a question. Yeah, I suggest everyone do the quiz. And it can change. It can, not for the most part. I think I did mine. Mine was still the same, but the numbers elevated, if that makes sense. So, for example, if the quiz is 22 answers, maybe one was like 86 or something like that. Last question for this time. We still have a couple. All right, so but this is going to tie into Duran's question to, yes, you guys are both married. So my question is, what is it, experience, age, or person, if that makes sense? I believe we're all the same age for you, because me and my student. I didn't know. we're about 41, 42 in here, right? And so you guys are married.
48. No, I'm just playing.
Serious? Ooh, that's all I'm so I'm unmarried, and we have other statuses in here. Is it age? Is it experiences? Or is it the person?
That gets you to that point.
Yeah, that's just that point. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Yes, that gets you to that person.
That's a good question. That might be
I think it's both experience and the person. Without experience, you can't recognize who your person is.
Okay.
You know, so once you have learned what it is that you require, because and that only comes with time. And knowing how you want to live, how do you want to be treated, how do you see your life going, and then you be a person who
Okay.
She mentioned age, right?
Hold on, Mom.
I think it's equal across the board. I don't know that one holds any more weight. And you couldn't make me get married at 20. Like, there was no conversation. There was nothing that could happen that was going to do that, and that probably carried on until I would say I was at least 30 before I even began to look at committed relationships and even in that vein, a marriage. So. Yeah, I think it has to be the right person. It most definitely has to be the right time because I think we all miss out on opportunities with what could or could not be a right person. I don't believe in meant to be. What's the term? Soulmate. Yeah, I hate that. I don't believe in that. But I do believe that there are multiple people that's walking this earth that would fit with us at X, Y, Z. So yeah, I think age, the right person, and then information and education about people. So I think it's equal. I don't know that there's one that holds any more weight, at least not to me.
Good. Last questions from the audience for this panel? No? Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. From you guys and thoughts, like, y'all know y'all was coming here today, and this always happens, y'all.
I wanted to say that young lady, but she left. That don't be with a man that you're expecting to change. You have to accept him fully for who he is at the moment. You get with him. Don't be trying to change him.
Right.
I mean, everybody wants to be accepted.
Right.
Everybody. So to give him a guy expecting him to want something different in the future, he told you what it was. Or it was rather but don't do that.
And that's something that I say is that when you get into a relationship, right, there's like this person has his own life, you have your own life, and then you want to make it into one, right? So you have to give that person the opportunity to live his life. You want to give this woman to be able to live her life. But when y'all come together, it's your life.
Ooh, that's real shit.
And that's something that we don't understand.
Right.
You know, we want to have all the passwords, we want to have all of this. No,
Oh, that's control.
that's controlling shit.
That's a lack of
Let that man be his man. Let you be the woman that you are. And when y'all come together, it's your life.
Tomas, what final thoughts for the audience?
I'm not okay
I
with
do like that.
sharing passwords.
But I think communicate what you want and how you want it early as possible. Yeah,
Okay,
as
so
early as possible.
I feel you. I just did wrong idea because I'm forgetting. Because you said that before.
Yes.
Effective communication, y'all. Let's start using more communication. Move out of here. Let's start using effective. Because that's what you're saying.
I just want to say it's safe to say that can be one of my love languages, right?
No. It's not. Communicate. And again, I'm speaking, we're talking perspectives, and I'm talking from point of views that I see. issue that most women run into is that you're saying, communicate what you want, communicate. But I understand tone, let's remove tone from it. To men, to some men, it's a ratio, they feel that is more of demands. Like,
No,
Man,
it's okay. That's what I'm saying. Hey, look. I want you to do this.
okay,
And if you see it as a demand, then that's cool too.
okay.
But I want this. This is what I want. And I need this. So now what you gonna do? And that's okay. I would really love, specifically for the ladies, I would really love for you all to stop wilting and quivering behind how you think we're gonna react to what you want and need. If this is what you want and this is what you need, then tell me. And it's up to me to say yay, nay, X, Y, or Z. But let me know. And don't be afraid. Confidence. Don't be afraid that I'm gonna walk out the door. Because even if I do, that's okay because I was never gonna give you what you needed in the first place. So stop. This, you know what? And y'all ain't gonna like this word. Stop being so weak. Like stand on that shit.
that's nice.
Thank you. Now, again, now, oh my God, let's say I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding though, because I still have questions, but I still have more panelists. Oh my God, thank you guys so much. Give it up. Give it up for our panelists, our return panelists. You guys are amazing. You just keep appreciation. Thank you. And let's just bring up our next one. Kat, bring it to the stage, please. And Deron, let's come back to the stage. Oh, man, we know that God. Hey, come on stage, Deron. Let's do it. I have my lovely panel today. We are going to enjoy the last segment of this meeting. I'm the type of person I'm ready to see what you're talking about. Okay. Yes. Good. All right. Let's get into it.
Are you guys a couple?
No, so let's do some wonderful introductions. This is my girl Kat here. And Kat is with my wonderful bestie Jonathan here, who is also my cameraman at Moments. And that is my family Kat. Yes, he is.
Wait, it's still psychiatrist or something?
Well, Jonathan.
What's your title?
That was my major in college, a little bit.
Okay, and you are single. Yes, he's been saying it all night.
What's your five?
He's a Sagittarius. December 4th. That is the same day as my guardian birthday. Awesome
Just stand on business.
I had a Sagittarius that was the nicest man ever.
And she said, whenever she was like, and I see it, and I do that. All right, grateful. You know what? I want to start that. Hold on, I'm changing the question. I want to start that. Let's just jump into it.
What about you?
How do y'all feel about expectations ruining relationships? Let's just jump into it. Expectations ruining relationships. Do they or do they not? Why or why not? Oh no, why?
I mean, because for one, you should not go into a relationship expecting shit. You ain't even got into the relationship yet. So why would you expect something from somebody that you're trying to get to know? There's not no guarantee that I'm talking to you today and then we're gonna be talking tomorrow. So for me to start expecting this and expecting that from you that we just met, I haven't earned that.
Is there level? She said relationship.
Yeah.
When you meet somebody, it's like,
Even if
is there?
Even if I'm in a relationship, I expect that person to be exactly who they are. I'm not getting in a relationship with somebody that's revealing who they are 6 years after we done been together. This whole time you've been fucking lying to me. I'm finding out 6 years, this is who you've been this whole time. Sometimes we gotta get past the representative, and that's the person that we initially meet. That's why in the beginning of talking to somebody, you should stress what it is you require. This is what I require in my relationship. This is what I need in going into my relationship.
But how have you known that person to be in a relationship?
Hold on. What does that cat? Oh my God. What does that look like? Because, and this is why I hear y'all. I hear my men all night. Y'all like, say this, say that. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. And that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is I don't want to say so much that women are afraid to say what we want, or it's the lack of confidence. It's the backlash. And again, this is the point of view that I have from women. It's the backlash that they've always gotten from saying what they want, saying what they need. That goes back into, again, being labeled independent. It's like you say what you want, you say what you need. That's why there's the standards thing. And then there's the backlash. For example, we talked about the financing earlier. So what you guys are saying is say what you want. And Shelly is an advocate. Shelly has said what she wanted and she found it in her husband. But you guys are saying say what you want. So if a woman comes and says, all right, I want a man. So there was a social media clip that we talked about, and this one was like, I don't do coffee dates for first dates. Don't take me to get bean juice, okay? Because I don't do bean juice. Don't take me that. Don't take me there. I require on the first date to be at X, Y, and Z, these high-level restaurants. That's her requirement. She said, because she said that in her comments, and yes, this is social media, she said in her comments, guys came for her. They started attacking how ugly she was and how she deserved bean juice and how could she think that she deserved this in a high level. Like she was attacked for saying what she wanted and she required. Now again, we have a small percentage of y'all. I see y'all looking at me. Y'all like, who does that? But again, what we are trying to convey, and a lot of women that come to the mixers and are out here, is that these are the men that are out here. So although it's 3, 4, 5 in here, right? Y'all are in here, and that's why y'all here and the other guys are not, because you guys are open and willing to come and have these discussions. But for us that go out in the world after today and tomorrow, we're running into these guys. So no, it's not as easy for us women to sit down and be like, well, I want this, and I want that, and I require this, and I require that, because of the backlash. So I just wanted to put that out there for my guys. That's just a point of view. Again, it's a perspective.
It's not really, in that moment, if you see it as backlash, I mean, you should get your ass up and say, this ain't for me. If you can't do what I need or what I require, then it's not gonna work.
It's not
It's simple.
a single, that's what I said before, it's not a single backlash. It's easy for us ladies to sit down on one day in November, right? And be like, I require this, and then he not with it. And then we be like, okay, that's cool, that's you not with it. And then we go out in February, and it happens again. And then we go, you see, so yes, we get what you're saying. Go ahead, Miles.
If you require this from a group, and a group does not want to give you that, then at some point you either need to adjust what you require or accept the fact that there are a few people that are willing to do what you require. But that doesn't mean that what you require is too much or not enough or blah, 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 blah. That doesn't, just because you require it does not mean that we are required to provide what it is that you want. You have to accept that.
Yes.
Because it ain't even about compromise. You can stand on it. Stand on it. 10 toes down. This is what I want. Shelly stood on the 10 toes down. She got what she wanted. You stand on the 10 toes down. You don't get what you want. So at what point are you willing to either continue to stand 10 toes down, or you know what? Maybe I don't want coffee. How about we just go for drinks? Yeah. Well, what's the middle ground? Because the reality of the situation is the reality. This is the expectation. This is your reality. A lot of people, and I'm not going to say them because that triggers a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to focus on their reality, and they like to just live in this dreamland that they have. That
No, because a lot of women and men are the same way.
100%.
100%.
100%. Me? Oh, I say we live in this reality. We live in this dreamland that does not reflect our reality. Our reality is that I can't. Sure, I want my wife to do any and everything that I want when I want it. The reality is that this is a grown woman that has a life that she lives, and I need to bend to that. So the reality, I don't want to go on coffee dates, but all the men that want to date me want to take me out on coffee dates. So what do I need to change about myself, or what do I need to change about that part?
And it could be a woman or a man, right?
100%.
Hold that thought, because I'm with you.
So there's an expectation with a lot of people. You hear from both men and women, you want a dime piece. I want somebody that has this and this and this. But how can I demand a dime piece when I'm about nickel and pennies? So a lot of the expectation is pseudo. It's a false, because you can require this, or you can ask for this. It can be preferred, but are you really out of your reach? It's almost like looking for a job that requires a higher degree, and you're like, I don't have those, but I'm going to go for it anyway. But are you qualified to ask for this? And so there's a little bit of difference, and I know that it's like a gray area. And there's a difference between having a requirement and having an expectation. Like, you can require a man or female to be respectful. You can require them to open up or whatever it is when you first meet them. But you can't expect it from them, because we expect people to be nice to us all the time, and out in the world we don't even get that. So we set these expectations that set us up for failure, because if you meet somebody and like, oh, I expect him to do this, do that, do that, and then they don't, and then you have, all you see is negative. Everything is negative about that person, because you came in there with this expectation. It's like going to a movie. You have an expectation this movie to be good, but you set yourself up already here. And then it doesn't work out, and you just dissatisfied. It's like, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Negotiables and non-negotiables. That's really just gonna start it for yourself, right? So, you have
Oh, yeah, I wanted to say that I had seen something where this lady basically said this guy had offered her on a coffee date or whatever, and she didn't do coffee, but she basically dressed herself up to where when she did see this man, oh, well, maybe I need to take her somewhere else other than coffee. But you never know what you're going to get until you go. And you can't downplay somebody else just because of what you're expecting as well. So that the outfit change, it could change his way of thinking on the coffee date as well. So everybody is also expecting on the first day, oh, we need to go and get steak and lobster and everything. But that same man that you're looking for, like you said, is one of the ones that want to take you on the coffee date. Now, if that man wants to take you somewhere else, then you will go somewhere else. But you will never know if you don't know.
That's hold that thought. So you said she was right.
I like the thought of presenting yourself in a way that says you can't just take me to Starbucks. I can't. I'm dressed so well that I'm still some kind of way having you walk into a Starbucks or a Coffee Bean. You know what? Let's switch this up and let's go to X, Y, Z. I like that.
And again,
Is there a time will definitely change? I'm sorry.
Communicate too, because and again, it's a lot of assumptions that go on around there, right? There's a lot of assumptions based on how whatever and I was dating a guy, and he just automatically took me on great dates. I mean, I loved it. I didn't require it. I didn't ask him. He planned all the dates. I was surprised. I loved every minute of it. But it was this one night where I had an event the next day. And back in the day, pin curls was my dish, y'all. Like, I would wear pin curl all day everywhere. What we're calling pin curls is pins. So the night before, like, I heard that I have to have it pinned up for the event. Well, I didn't want to take my pins down just to go to dinner with him, not just to go to dinner.
No, you said it right. That's
No,
right.
it's
It's okay.
yeah, not just to go to dinner with him, but to go to
The
dinner
guy that
with
took you
him.
on great dates.
He was great. So, but my moral of the story is that I asked him, I said, tonight can we just get pizza and like watch a movie? And he's like, you want to get pizza? I'm like, actually, pizza's my favorite. Like, I would really love some pizza. And from there on, he still planned the dates, but he incorporated and he started more asking. Now, I love all the dates that he had prior to, but again, I don't know where he got that thought that he needed to take me to these great dates, which I appreciate all the time. Or he thought that maybe I didn't like the chill dates, you know? But so tying into both of this, I had to express and effectively communicate, but also show him because I came over here in sweats, like I'm and girls like I don't want to do this. Like we can sit right here. So was that a question or was just like a personal story time?
It was amazing, whatever.
It was.
Timing is just be your authentic self. No matter what, still accept but be your authentic self. But I also challenge that it goes with experience and age because I'm not sure if 10 years ago I would have passed up a nice date. Like I would have took them pink curls out. It didn't have to do with the guy or anything. I just think of where I was back then. I would have took pink curls out. No, it kind of do with confidence. No, it would have been that I would have still wanted to go out and eat that fine dinner and still go.
Maybe not confidence, but a mindset.
Mindset.
Because I'm 28.
Yeah,
It's
mindset.
because in the 20s we were that.
Yeah, like I was ready. Like in the 20s, I was out in these restaurant streets.
But then you realize in your 20s, well now, now in our 40s, looking back in retrospect, that we see all those nice dinners, where are they though? Right. They're not here. So then you realize,
Well, then, we also like to do it now. Okay, so,
right, like, so another key point is that going back to expectations, telling your intentions and saying what you say at the beginning, and things can change. And so maybe about, I don't know, let's just say a year or 3 ago when I ran into a guy, I would ask that we go to a fancy dinner once a month. On a day, like, oh my God, I would really love, like, once a month, I didn't use the word require, but once a month to go out on a date on a fancy dinner. After a while, y'all, I'm tired. I don't feel like getting dressed. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, now I would really like to wear that pizza and so on and so forth, but had I had set that as a standard in the beginning of our dating phase and put that out there, like, I require that from here on out, our entire relationship, that you have to take me on a fancy dinner, and now I don't want to go. So I'm like, do I look like a fraud? Do I look like my expectations? Or do I look like I didn't set where I was going back? I'm distracting, or I set them up too high and I was just bluffing? I don't know.
It's definitely bluffing.
Yeah. And it would be looked at as bluffing, but at the time I wasn't. Like I really wanted to love it.
Because going out on nice dates, it represents a certain type of guy, a certain type of look. You want to feel a certain type, but that isn't you super chill.
Exactly.
So you should just be chill all the time. But if you
just said, can we go out?
That's it.
It shouldn't have been a requirement.
Exactly. I don't know.
And then I noticed that when you go out to eat with people, you can't really talk to them like that because they're eating.
Right.
They're eating. So I feel like the best place to go to really get somebody who they're on their first couple of dates is like going on a picnic or walking the beach line or a top golf or something, somewhere you can actually communicate with each other, get a vibe on how they're actually interacting with the scenery.
And again, is that age?
I would say it's definitely age because because early in my 20s, I was probably looking more for a sponsor than a partner. Because
Probably.
And it was just a different time. It was a different time, so we were all about what we could do. We could allow this dude to, But then you start to realize that's really not a party. That's really not that meaningful, especially when it's about getting to know somebody. Like that's where that whole cheesecake factory thing. I was like, you can take me to cheesecake.
Also, it's how you view it too. I feel like for me, it's age, experience, time, but also sometimes I be like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm on fifth life. I understand, but I don't like to change. I don't like to talk. I'm on my fifth life right now. All right, and it's so funny. Like I talk to people here. It's so funny because now that I'm back skinny, right? Like I just lost weight. I was 190 pounds a year and a half ago. But people are so shocked though because I'm like, y'all do realize in high school I was 96 pounds. Like I just fluctuated my whole life. But I'm on my fifth life right now, and I see all of that as an experience.
That's what we look for now.
Everything.
That's what we look for.
Yeah, and also I'm like, I did that. So partying, I was partying in high school. We got the teen clubs. Like, we don't have those no more. I did all of that. And then the partying, the Vegas, all of that, All-Star Weekend. Now I'm like, All-Star Weekend coming here. Ooh. Right? And so it is about how you take the experience and what you're chasing too. Because a lot of people are still chasing things that they didn't experience back then when they really wanted to.
And there's some people that are trying to make up for what they didn't get to do 20 years ago. And it's like that ship sailed and just smashed you by.
Yes. And then they try to live with their kids.
Right.
They try to live with their kids. 30 minutes. All right, thank you, y'all. Look, Kat, I know I appreciate you.
No, thank you. You know I love you.
I love you too. Any last thoughts for the people? Anything that you came in here and you was like, you know what I do at home now? Because Shelly said something earlier that I wanted to touch on there. I hear a lot too. She said a lot of her friends want to control. Talk more about that because as women, I hear that from my men. And my male clientele have risen 8% in the last 6 months. And I'm glad that y'all speaking up in here. Which is why I can sit up here and say, y'all are ratio in here or some of the stuff.
Oh, you didn't hear what he said when he was like, man, what you said I should have been coming to these a long time ago.
Because I've been inviting someone to these for a long time. Yes. We appreciate you coming up.
Control.
Thank you. Yes, I hear that as well. That is a lot of things that, so different levels, right? Married men say that the woman takes control after the marriage, and that's when everything stops, because now it's I'm the wife and that side of the control. But you were speaking so much of the dating scene, relationships. Say it one more time so I can hear that.
So my friends, they try to control the situation. They try to control the dating phase, control, where they go, control if he's coming over, he's coming to my house. And it's just like, just need to fall back. Fall back, let him leave. Because I feel like men don't want to deal with somebody so controlling, even so early on in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that because like for me, well, it's not really a question, it's a statement. Like for me in the beginning, like I've had a woman be like, hey, like when you gonna take me out to dinner? Like, and I'm like, well, when I get ready to take you.
Yeah.
Because it's like if that's a problem for you, like and you need to go to dinner like right now, then maybe I'm not the guy for you because I'm not gonna be paying for you to eat and have a doggy bag to go home and chill with another nigga later. That's my thing, right? So it's like when I'm ready to take you to dinner, that's when I'll take you to dinner. Like we ain't even got to that point where I want to sit across the table and look you in the eyes all night and enjoy a nice meal. Like can we get there first?
Yeah.
So I understand that. I understand that.
And you'd be a sorry ass motherfucker to eat a fucking doggy bag.
You said that's me.
No.
So when somebody asked me earlier,
Because I'm gonna tell you definitely, any man that I deal with you can eat it.
Oh, I see what
Oh,
she's
you
saying.
talking about the man?
Oh.
Oh, I'm just saying, I always say that if I eat on my foot, take it out. But I hear you. Yeah.
Now, if I go with my girls, if I go with my girls, and you know what, I'm out with my girls, hey, my love, you know, we went out, got out, we got some food left over, da. But if I'm going out on a date, ain't no way in the world I would give my man a doggy bag from another man that's gonna pay for it.
Right. Okay.
When I heard this group earlier, they was kind of like asking why I was single, and I know ones, right? Because I meet a lot of women that I don't know.
And he a piece of shit of a motherfucker to eat after a motherfucker else.
I meet a lot of women that
No, I'm just talking shit.
are successful, but they think they strong at what they are, and
I wouldn't even like that motherfucker.
they're weak, right? So it's like for me, I'll tell a woman like, this is what I need, and then they'll say like, I don't see myself fitting in that, and I'm like, that's fine. Now I know that I don't need to waste my time with you because you don't fit what I need.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'll tell them like, man, I'm a single dad, I raised my kids, I know how to cook, clean, I know how to do all that shit. I don't need a woman to come into my life and do that. I need a woman to come into my life. And I'm telling them I need a woman to just come into my life and enjoy life with me. That's it. I just want to have fun.
What about her kids?
So that's what it sounds like what you're saying. If I close my eyes, I hear being listening saying that they say the same things to me. You don't think?
What about her kids?
Okay.
I mean, if the kids come with her,
You single?
if the kids come with her, she's single with her.
She's got these kids.
You got a kid then.
What was
about
the
kids?
All the
If
kids
the
from
kids come with her, I gotta accept the kids if they come with her. I can't take her without her kids.
so all the kids from me.
Hold on, Mama Queen, because the family dynamic is a whole other thing.
Yeah, I can't accept her without her kids. Like that just don't work. I did the blended family thing for 7 years. I did that shit for 7 years. And in the 7th year, me and her sat down and was like, man, it's not working. And I said, you're right, I agree. I said, the reason why it's not working because I got my daughters and your daughter and you pulling me back and forth. Each one of you guys want me to be here, and then neither one of y'all listening to the things that I need in order to make this shit work.
Yeah.
Because my daughters is they daddy girl. They love daddy. Mom's never been around, so they just
And
know
I
daddy.
wish
Hold on, let me
fucking
open up to them. So for my daughters, I knew, and I told her in the beginning, I said, look, it's gonna be a problem if you come into my life and you try to be their mama. They know that.
I don't want to be nobody's mama.
Listen, I told her this shit. If you come into their life and you try to be their mama, you're gonna run into a problem. Come into their life and help them, guide them, be a guider to them versus trying to be their mama. I said because they know daddy, and daddy can do everything. They know this. Daddy taught them how to put on pads when they had their period. You know, daddy used to comb hair. Daddy know how to do it all. So all you need to do is be a guidance and just show them how to be women. Because I couldn't teach them how to be women. I couldn't teach them how to be a woman to a man, or this is what a man will look for. So this is certain things that you need to do. Because when a man is looking at you, this is what he's looking at.
Okay, so let's stop you there.
Question.
Because this is, yes, I'll bring it back there too. This is good because Mr. Clark here said something similar, or the same thing. Mr. Clark, Shelly's husband. But he said something similar at our last event. And he said that when he met Shelly, he has an older daughter as well.
23.
23 years old.
Just turned 21.
And he said that those were the same things that he expressed to Shelly that he needed for his oldest daughter as well. Am I right?
The guy heard the lady.
Yeah.
And so moving it back, Donovan also has children. He loves the kids. Donovan loves the kids. He's daddy of the year, he's stepfather of the year, team step. In the back is team stepdad. Alright, my brother team stepdad, Donovan dad, team stepdad. They love the kids, right? But Donovan, right? Again, Donovan is. If you want to chime in on how you feel, because he is very adamant about who he brings around his children as well. And he will not go cat, they love me like everybody got children and kids. Real quick, speak on that.
I mean, that's a direct conversation that we had,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a direct conversation that's necessary. You know, what is this dynamic going to be? You know, how we're going to move, what's going on, you know. So it's very intentional. And then you find out, you know, people that fall off with that particular conversation, they're not intentional with what's going on in their daily life. But definitely it's sensitive. It's sensitive. But team stepdad, yeah, team stepdad.
So my situation was a little different. With my ex, when I started dating her, her child was like 3. At the end of me and my ex, she's like 13. So I was pretty much a father to her. Like I'm still tight with her. We still rock to this day. I'm still like a father to her. My question was gonna be for you though, like, so me not having kids of my own, and you know, deciding, you know, I can't tell, you know, in the future who I'm gonna date, but if they have children, and I can pretty much step in and try to be the best father figure I can. But when does it, like you said, you didn't want the women to try to be a mom to your daughter, but when does the time come? Because you can only teach them so much. So when will you eventually, or if you want to be with this person, and y'all gonna live together or be together, when do you when do the roads meet?
So this, I'm gonna kind of try to be quick with it. So I met her, we talked, and we spent a lot of time together within a year. We spent a lot of time together. Just one night, I was with her, and she was like, damn, man, I hate when you go home. What do I need to do to make sure that you're here with me every night? I said, well, you know, it's not just me that's coming if I come. My kids coming with me. And she was like, I'm okay with that. So I was like, my daughters, they like me. They strong, they gonna say what they gonna say. And I can handle it, so I don't need you to come in right away, like trying to be mama. Like, you know, be they friend and get to know them first. Like I done been around your daughter for a year. I kind of know me and your daughter talk, we laugh, we joke, we watch TV. You wasn't around mine because I didn't know what this was gonna be. But now that you want me here and I like you, I want to be here with you because I like your daughter too. You gotta come in soft. You gotta be their friend, get to know them. They're each different, right? They twins, so they got different personalities. They the same, but they not the same. So learn them, and then, you know, I always made sure that, you know, if she needed to tell them something as far as like a discipline, that she had that approval because we were all living together. But I also wanted her to understand that, you know, they have a certain upbringing. I need to explain that to you, so when you see certain things, you know how to handle it, and not do it your way, and then you get a backlash. And sometimes she would go against what I would tell her, and then now here come a problem.
Okay,
So you said 7 years though.
Yeah.
So after 7 years, I would think the relationship and bond would have grown some to where I struggled a lot with overstepping my boundaries at times because I didn't agree with the way she would do things as a mom. So I'll step in because what's right is right, what's wrong.
But you can't do that though.
So
you can't
that's
do
what I'm saying.
You can't do that.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. My ex-husband came into my son's life when he was 20 months. He was almost 2 years old. The difference was his biological father wasn't in the picture. So he became dad. And then when we got married and had our son a few years later, and then our daughter a few years later, it depends when you come into that person's life and what the dynamic is. So we agreed because, of course, you're going from no kids to 2 kids. So you have the son that I came into a relationship with and then the child that we have together. And so, of course, we're a unit. We're a family. But like with Donovan's children and my children, a little different.
Yeah.
You know, and we discussed that. And so I know, they know that, you know, I'm a figure and I'm always gonna back him, whatever he says to his children. And then with me, like my kids, they'll be like, Mr. Gotti, we gonna tell him not to tell his ass, because he gonna ride with me. Like,
But let me tell you something. I've been dealing with a man for 7 years. None of my kids are biologically his kids. 7 years. He loved my kids. And my kids have a relationship with him in a whole nother level. He done became a grandfather before he's even been a dad.
So before we get there though, because I think the question is more about boundaries.
Man.
Right?
it is.
It's more about boundaries.
Yeah.
But it also goes to same thing that we talked about when we look for our partners and when we think about our own children and other children. It's about values. It's about morals. It's about aligning. And so if it doesn't align and it's bothering you, because there is children involved, you're not dating. You can't just be playing like, I don't like that she do that. Like, no, because you have to figure it out for the children.
Right.
As well.
And it's always for the children's sake though.
If it aligns with what you are, because that's gonna
Right.
cause resentment in your relationship, period. You know, because you're going to always not want to step on your, toes or eggshells and all that. And then it's gonna, and I'm not saying but I'm saying you can get frustrated with your partner over something that they're dealing with their children the whole time. And it has nothing to do with you guys, Alita. God was trying to get your attention.
But I'm gonna say to you, hold on. There's a thing like, okay, so when you're dating somebody, you have to understand what role is this person gonna play in your life. So are you gonna continue to move forward with them and include your children into this relationship, or is this just gonna be a side thing for entertainment purposes only and it ending?
Even before we go there, how about we just start with my favorite word is capacity. What do you have the capacity for with other people's children? I don't. And for an example, my daughter's 21. I never wanted any more children. It's a non-negotiable for me. I'm not having any more children. So if I meet you, I date you, we're not doing it, right? I don't have the capacity. Little children, they're loud, they're running around, I don't have it. So for me, but I love the kids. I can mentor them all day. But I'm talking about in a 24-hour setting, being there, having to be in charge of their feelings, their emotions, how to raise them, not stepping on toes and values and stuff, and still having to worry about my own. I don't have the capacity. And that is my personal feeling. And that's how I roll with it. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, they are so focused on their relationship with the individual. What we doing, how much fun we having. You going home, your baby sleep. Can we get it cracking when your baby go to sleep? Like that, you don't understand what your capacity is for that. So when you start being taxed on somebody else's child, when you start being drained, when you start and you don't have the capacity, that's when you have to understand, are you being a father figure or are you stepping into that person's life?
So I'll tell you this. I don't have a relationship with their dad. But all my stepkids, for my baby daddies that I do have, they come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not in a relationship with none of them.
Shelly, go ahead and bring us home.
None of them. But their kids are my babies. Every single one of them.
And see, Mama Queen, you talking about a different level that we are all
Right.
trying to.
And I'm not in a relationship with none of my baby daddies.
So
But their kids, any of their kids are welcome in my home, and we're gonna treat all of them the same like any of our kids, right or wrong.
So Shelly, go ahead and bring us home.
Sometimes I feel like